Welcome to Connect to Joy. Your host, Carol DeChaine, is an intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters and Marconic multidimensional energy practitioner. Her quest is to help you realize new possibilities, discover and release what holds you back, and enable you to manifest an inspired life filled with joy. Join us on this journey of transformation. Now, here's your host, Carol DeChaine.
Welcome, beautiful spirits. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm Carol DeChaine, and my passion in life is to help you find your joy, to release what holds you back, and assist you to quantum leap your journey of self-discovery. I'm an intuitive, certified in life and business coaching, and a Marconic multidimensional energy practitioner and teacher. So if you're ready to start creating that life you've only dreamed of, that you deserve, let's have some fun and let's get started right now. Today, we're going to be talking about opening yourself up to love. Everyone wants to be loved, someone to care for us, whether it's a friend or a significant other. We all need someone that we can depend on, at least from time to time, and who we can talk to when things get really bad. I know some people seem to hermit themselves and don't need other people, but I think they're kidding themselves. I think having someone that appreciates you and loves you for who you are is all most human beings really want. And while I'm going to focus on your love life, most of this applies to anyone in your life that you want to have love for, friends, relatives, anyone. And let me say that at a minimum, most people want someone who doesn't leave you, so abandon you, betray you, treat you harshly, abuse you. Those are things we don't want. There are so many things that we do want. So what do you want when it comes to love? Today, we'll talk about what holds you back from opening yourself up. We're going to release what blocks us from finding love, including learning from past relationships and a 6-step guide to help you move on and let go. Because if you don't learn and let go of the past, your present and your future suffers. We're going to do a meditation to release the past and embrace love of a couple of different relationships probably. And we're going to do some fun ideas to get out there and get you started. If you want to open your heart and let love in, first, what's holding you back? What stops you from doing it? And how do you get past those things? Well, first, look at the reasons. Why do you tell yourself you can't find love? These may be a reality to you, but they may be false. They may not be a true reality. It's just what you're thinking about. Maybe they're excuses you make for why you don't have someone in your life. Look at these reasons again. So maybe you're putting out there that you're too old. It's too late for you. Maybe you're thinking everyone your age wants to date younger, which seems to be true a lot of the time for a lot of people, but you're looking at it going, well, even if you meet a lot of people who are like this, not everyone's like this, and you only need one person to not be that way. It is never too late. People in their 70s and 80s are meeting each other and falling in love. Love can always find you. Keep looking. Your person is out there. Another false thing you might be telling yourself is your location isn't good. There's no one in your area. Dating apps are really helpful with this, especially the ones that have the mileage there, because you know how far people are away from you, on a couple of them at least. But there are always new people coming and going. People coming into the area that are visiting, relatives, or that are coming in if you're in a bigger town for conventions or something. And it's amazing. I mean, just walking down to the grocery store, you might meet somebody who doesn't live there or who just moved into town. There's always somebody. And if you really feel that way and you're in a 5-person town, you can always move if you need to, or at least visit for a while somewhere else for a year or two if you want to take a job somewhere and then move back if that's your home. There are lots of choices that you can make. Some people's reality says that they don't think they like what they look like, that they're not attractive enough. They're going to feel like they need to wait until they lose that 10 pounds. They want to wait until they work out. But you can always do that anytime, no matter what you look like, whether you're small or large, you have a big butt or no butt, or you have washboard abs or you have a big gut. There's always somebody who's going to love you. Somebody that's going to be able to say, hey, that's my type. Don't give up on yourself. Know that that doesn't have to be your reality. There's always somebody out there that's going to love your type of person. Don't let what you look like hold you back. Love yourself anyway, and take those steps to allow yourself to take those steps out there. You may also, in the current reality, feel that COVID is holding you back. You can't meet anybody nowadays unless you're wearing a mask, and how can anybody see you, right? Of course, dating apps are pretty good. You don't wear a mask. Well, actually, I've seen a few people with masks on in the dating apps. I think they're being funny. They also have pictures without their masks, so you can actually see what they look like. Don't let the mask wearing hold you back. If you go to a grocery store, you can still talk to somebody even if they're 6 feet away. You can smile with your eyes. You can put out there this feeling of joy, of welcoming, and that will help you really feel like you're connecting to people. Some people feel they need to wait until they lose weight, they're out of debt, they have a job or a better job, maybe until they meditate more or get a higher vibration. There's all kinds of reasons. But time is precious. You can wait as long as you want. It's your choice. But time will still go by. Maybe 5 or 10 years, and maybe you never did lose that weight. Or maybe you never did get out of debt. And you won't have that family you want or the life you were looking for because you waited. If you decide to wait, like I said, it's totally fine. It's up to you. But make sure you give yourself a deadline. Otherwise, that time will go by and you won't even realize it. Trust me on that. If you haven't made whatever changes you think you wanted to do by the deadline, go out and start looking anyway. Realize that if you're 25 and you're 30 because you've let 5 years go by and you go, oh my God, I haven't gotten anywhere near where I wanted to be. Maybe you're 40 and it's 50 now. Realize that you can always find someone wherever you're at, but you need to be willing to take those steps and let yourself do it. The biggest block can be that you've given up, so you don't look. And I don't care what people say, when you're not looking, you find somebody. I disagree. It might happen, but if you don't open the door, you may get lucky and someone may show up and you might realize it's them. But generally, you're not paying attention when you're not looking. And therefore, the best person might show up and you won't even realize it. I guess this is the time when I can confess something to you. At a certain time in my life, I think I was 40, I had multiple men tell me all about within the same year, which is so annoying. And this was after they were married and happily married, mind you, that when they knew me 10 years before or whenever it might have been, that they were really interested in me and they would have asked me out on a date, but I seemed to show no interest because I wasn't actively looking and I didn't put off that vibe. I was kind of shy and I didn't really talk to men very much. So they didn't ask me out. But I had been interested in them. I had my own fears and limiting beliefs. So by all means, be aware, be open. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let yourself close yourself off so much that all these opportunities and these lovely people pass you by. You can also ask yourself what fear and limiting belief holds you back or what's blocking you. You may not be able to tell, but sometimes it'll hit you over the head when you ask yourself the question. Do you feel unworthy of love? Do you feel undeserving? Maybe you feel that you're unattractive. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not young enough. Maybe you have this fear of failure or this fear of being hurt. Usually 1 or 2 of these are going to be the biggest ones. So you'll know kind of what to focus on. You may feel too damaged or flawed from past relationships, or maybe you even feel unlovable. And that can go back and root back really early if people have told you that when you're growing up. Once you know what your main blocks are, be happy. Don't get all upset with yourself because you can work on them when you realize what they are. They're not now buried so deep you don't even know. And I'm going to get to how to work on those in just a minute, especially if you're not sure. But a big clue is to look at your past. Our past colors our present, and it colors how we act and interact with people. And often, we hold on to our past and we may or may not learn useful lessons from the past relationships. So we tend to repeat them over and over again since we don't learn. They're baggage we carry with us. If you've ever seen somebody else, because it's hard to see in yourself, you'll see sometimes somebody who's in a relationship and you're thinking, dump them, please dump them. What is your problem? And they do. And you're going, yay, you did a good job. You got rid of that person. And then the very next relationship looks exactly the same. It may not be that they took up with the same person with the same name, but it could be, instead of John, it could be David. Oh, look, David looks exactly like John, and he treats you exactly the same way because you didn't learn the lesson. The lesson might be that you're good enough, that you can have someone more. You're more deserving than this. It could be a lot of different things. So look for that lesson. If you don't let go what's holding you back, you can close down your heart, and you could end up with bitterness or blame or unforgiveness. This is something that you may have to listen to a few times here, this next piece. I want you to take a look at each relationship from your past, each one that lasted more than a few days, that you remember and felt something for. Who were you with and what happened? So write their name down or think of that person's name. What happened with them? Was it great? Was it a good connection? Was there psychological problems there? Did they kind of abuse you psychologically, tell you you weren't good enough, or tell you you were stupid, or did they abuse you physically? Were they just rude, mean? Did they abandon you? Did they drop you? How did it end is a question you want to ask yourself. Who left who? If you left, you may have guilt. If they left you and it was abruptly, you may have some painful scars from it. What worked for you, this relationship, and what didn't work? Did you feel hurt afterwards? And why? What happened to make you feel hurt? Were you left feeling unlovable, unworthy, undeserving? Maybe you felt abandoned or abused in some way. And how is your relationship with that person now? Are you still connected in some way? Especially if you have kids, you would be. Are you okay? Are you bitter? Or just totally disconnected from them? Maybe you have no connection at all, but you don't hate them. It's just, you don't even think about it. That's more healthy, unless you have stuff buried underneath. If you hate them or hold some kind of bitterness against them, it's holding you back, and it's not holding them back. What did you learn from each relationship? And if you didn't learn anything positive, what could you have learned now that you're looking back? Like I said, you may have to repeat this for each relationship. Listen to me for each one, or write these things down and look at each one and look for a pattern. If you want to grow and you want to love yourself more, this will really, really help you. Opening yourself up to love is something that we all want to do at some level. But we can feel vulnerable and a little worried, right? You feel vulnerable about, oh, don't hurt me. Oh, I don't know if I want to put myself out there. What if they don't like the real me? The pattern is going to help you figure all that out. Find out the lesson. You're going to learn so much, and it's going to help you in the present and the future. So how do you heal these past relationships? How do you get through some of those blocks and open your heart? Glad you asked. Here are the 6 steps you can try, and you may not need all 6, but these are the 6 that seem to work the best. And I've kind of culled them from my experience and from a bunch of different websites to look at what other people are talking about, because I want to make sure that I give you as good of information as I can. Step 1, let go of the hurt and the bitterness. Make sure first that you've taken the time to mourn the loss of the relationship or celebrate it. Maybe you want to celebrate it was awful and you're going, yay, I'm glad I'm out of it. This is great. I'm so happy. It was a horrible relationship. Or maybe you celebrate the fact you're just free. You feel free. But sometimes we have to mourn the loss because we had somebody in our life and now we don't. Even if they were awful, we still need to mourn the loss of the relationship because some people hate being alone and you need to mourn it. But then don't get stuck there. When you're ready, embrace the pain and the hurt. It won't go away if you're hiding from it, blocking it out, because that will fester, and it hurts your present and your future if you let it fester. But also, if you're talking about it all the time, over and over, and you go somewhere and you cry and you scream and you kick, maybe you punch a bag or something, or hopefully not the wall because that could hurt, but you do something to let off some steam. Or you tell somebody how you feel. Don't let yourself get stuck in this place either. You need to be able to keep moving through. If you don't feel comfortable telling somebody or screaming or doing anything like that because you're a quieter person, if you're a journal person and you like to journal, write stuff down. Perhaps you not only write stuff down, but you also would make a great book out of it. Whatever you do, it will help you start releasing it. And you might be able to release a lot with the energy work or meditation as well. I know Marconics, which I do, it really helps you shift up to a higher vibration and let go of some of that stuff. It helps you release the stuff that's stuck in your cells. Don't hold it in and nurse the hurt. You have the power to release the pain and the bitterness. Facing pain can take a lot of courage. But if you don't learn the lesson from the past, you won't ever be able to open your heart again. Be brave. Face the pain. Face the hurt. Whatever it is you're feeling, because it's really worth it. Step 2 is to forgive instead of blaming. So there's kind of 3 different kinds of people you can forgive. The first one is to forgive yourself. I know I've already done a whole thing on forgiveness, but I'm going to go through this here because it's really important on past relationships as well. So if you want a longer one for forgiveness, I have another show on that you can find. So forgive yourself. First, maybe for putting up with a relationship. If you feel like you've wasted 10 years of your life, forgive yourself because maybe you felt you stayed too long. You didn't let go soon enough. You didn't learn what you needed to do and step away soon enough. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for saying something that you did or not saying something that you wish you had, doing something that you did or said to them, or maybe forgive yourself for not acting in a way that you wanted to. Forgiving yourself is really important because it's a step so many people forget, especially when they think the other person did everything wrong and they didn't. You still need to forgive yourself for whatever it is that you're holding on to. And a lot of times it may only be that you feel like you've stayed there too long or you didn't say something when you need to. The second thing to do with forgiveness is to forgive any friends or family if you need to, because maybe their actions or their words came in between you and the relationship. Maybe they pushed the other person out, or maybe they didn't tell you something that they knew would have changed the way that you would have acted in the relationship. So forgive your friends or family if there's anything there that you need to forgive them for. There may not be. Maybe they were great and they were always there for you. And of course, forgive your ex. No matter how awful the actions or how unacceptable their behavior, you need to forgive them. You don't need to condone it, even if it seems that they have acted unfairly, unjustly, or they're just wrong, okay? They're just wrong. Your healing starts when you let it go. You don't need to understand why people do what they do because God knows sometimes it's impossible. It makes no sense to you as an individual why someone else would act that way. Maybe they don't even know why they acted a certain way. You don't have to really understand why, although it may help you to forgive. You don't have to know it. They may have difficult pasts that color their reactions. And like I said, you may have no clue. But no one's perfect. Everyone has their way of going. But I heard a saying that goes like this. If you don't forgive someone, it's like injecting yourself with poison over and over again and expecting the other person to suffer. So if you're holding on to what they did to you, you're feeding yourself that same anger, that same hurt over and over and over, and that is poisoning you. And you're expecting them to hurt because you're suffering. And guess what? Sometimes they don't even know that you're suffering. So it doesn't work that way. It might piss you off. You might get angry because it's like, no, they're supposed to hurt because they hurt me. Well, guess what? They may not even care. They may not be worth that feeling because you deserve better. But you have to come to that realization yourself. So forgiving them is a step that you can do to help you. It empowers you to forgive them. But if you can figure out what the lesson is that you need to learn, it will be easier for you to forgive. So maybe you needed to learn that you deserve better. And then you can say, well, I can forgive you. Thank you for teaching me that lesson. Because man, I deserve better than you. I am a nicer person than what I thought I was. I can be kinder because they aren't, or because they showed me that's a good thing that they showed me. Because not everything in a relationship is bad, 90% of the time. There are some things that you can accept and appreciate from the past because it's not all going to be negative. Remember the happy times and their redeeming qualities, but don't get chained down to someone who's not coming back that you don't want back in your life again. So don't remember the happy times and their redeeming qualities to the extent of, no, I want you back. and forget the negative. You want to learn from what happened and appreciate the things that did work. Because you don't want to chain yourself down so that you don't open yourself up to love, and you don't want to hold on to the other person with chains either. So that's why forgiving them frees you in multiple ways. And then don't keep repeating the story over and over again. Don't have a first date with somebody and tell them all about your ex over and over and over again, people. You know, if you've ever had somebody that you've had a date with, oh my God, you do not want that to happen. It turns you off immediately. So make it your history instead of your current. It becomes your present if you don't let go of the story. You can tell people what happened when they want to know. What past relationships did you have? Keep it short and give them the lesson at the end on what you learned from it. Because that will make them go, oh, wow, that's really cool. They actually learned something from that, and they are shifting and moving forward. The third step in healing past hurts is to stop comparing. And there are two parts to this. First, don't compare yourself to other people. Some people that have a relationship, maybe fabulous relationship, but you don't know what's inside that relationship. Sometimes we're shocked when people get a divorce because we're not there. They may seem perfect for each other, and you may have compared yourself to them, saying, if I only had what they had, then my life would be okay. It may not be as great as you think it is. So realize what appears to be the truth is what I want in my life. Realize if they get a divorce, it's not going to ruin your life because you don't know what's happening inside of them. So don't compare yourself. They can be a beacon of hope for you in that type of relationship that you see, the idealized one that you see there. And the second thing is, don't compare everyone you date to your ex or your exes. Two things are going to happen. If they're really great and you left them feeling hurt, but you love them overwhelmingly, the new person, they won't stand a chance. They are SOL, because there is no way they're going to stand up to someone that you're idolizing, whether the person that you wanted in your past left you, but you thought they were the best thing ever. So if they don't pass muster, then you're not going to end up staying with that person. They're going to go, well, I guess they don't care about me. Or you'll overreact to every little thing that you hated about your ex that your new person does. If they say even one slight little thing, you'll jump all over them going, that's the way my ex did it. And you'll blame them and punish them for something your ex did, even if it's maybe a turn of phrase they used. It could be something they said that was totally innocuous. It had no impact at all to them, but you read meaning into what they're doing. So realize that it's not fair to the new person. You need to release the old because they are offering you their own unique self into the mix. They aren't the other person. And step 4 is to release whatever fear you have. If you're worried about getting hurt again or cheated on or heartbroken, everybody has those, but are you really focused on that? Maybe you have that fear of not being good enough or attractive enough. How is that fear holding you back? Everyone has fear about relationships at one point or another. How have you handled it in the past? And what you did in the past, how's that working for you now? It may be fine, but there may be things you need to learn and realize that if you call out your fears, it can't hurt you because you can face them once you see them. It's so much easier to handle something you realize is there than something you don't. Think about the worst that can happen if the fear came true. And is it likely to come true? And one thing you can do, as I've said before, it's not something I do that much of, but people that journal about their fears, they find a way to move forward with their life despite being fearful because they can see it on the page. I did it for a certain section of my life where I really needed to work through something, but I'm not a habitual journaler. But some people, they have journals going all the way back because that's something they just do. You can also, of course, to release the fear, hire someone to help you work through, to be your sounding board, your accountability partner. Whether it's a therapist or a life coach like what I do, you can go and help yourself that way. It's worth it. Step 5 is to learn to love yourself more, to focus on loving yourself. What makes you so special? And you are. If you don't feel lovable, no one will be able to get through to you that you are. Do you hear that? If you don't think you're lovable, nobody will be able to convince you that you are. You'll think they're lying. You won't accept it. I have a whole show that's called Loving Yourself Made Easy. It has simple action guides that you can take, so little by little you can be nicer to yourself. So I recommend going back if you need to work on this, because I can't cover it all here. Some of the things you can do are to forgive yourself for past mistakes, which we talked about here. Treat your body better. There are lots of ways you can do that. Spend more time doing things you love with people you love. Be kind to yourself. There's a bunch of different things. And I have another show on increasing your self-confidence if you need help with that. There are lots of ways to learn to love yourself. The higher the vibration that you shift to, the more you'll put out and start attracting people to you much more easily at those higher, more loving vibrations. But you need to send it out in order to get it back. Step 6 is to be brave. Take action. At some point, you have to take action if you want love. You really do. Even though there's a possibility for heartbreak and pain, be willing to open up your heart. Be brave. Be willing to be vulnerable. Or love, it won't have anywhere it can bloom. Now be aware, don't ignore the red flags, but don't focus on them. Just don't ignore them. Don't say every single thing is a red flag. Just be aware and set your intention to have that love in your life. And we're going to do that right now because we're going to have a meditation. We're going to look at, if we have time, 2 past relationships to release whatever's holding you back and to put a little bit of forgiveness in there as well. So here we go. I hope you're comfortable. If you can't, close your eyes right now, come back later and re-listen, but listen along in case you have some shift even without closing your eyes. Okay, so now that you're comfortable, I'm going to count you into this. 1, start releasing any worries that you have. 2, let go. Let go of the thoughts of the day. 3, just feel your body relaxing. Allow it to relax all the way from the tip of your head through your shoulders, through your arms, down through the torso and down through the rest of your body, even to your toes. Feel that peace and that relaxation. 4, letting yourself come to that quieter place in your mind. And 5, feeling safe. Asking for your higher wisdom to come and clear away any past hurts, and so that you can learn whatever lessons you need to learn. And standing in front of you is a giant double door. Watch it swing open. It leads to a wide hallway. And look at all the doors on both sides. Each door represents a different relationship that you've had. Think of a specific relationship now that you'd like to heal, and look at the doors and see which one glows for you. And that's the door you want to go over to. See the door open. See yourself first. Feel it that you're safe and in a bubble as the door opens. See the person, and for the moment, even though you're feeling safe, feel all that you did in that relationship. How did they feel? How did you feel? Do you need to forgive yourself? If you do, find that light coming through you now, clearing away anything that you feel you need to let go of. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for staying so long, for taking what they did or said to you and not saying something back. Maybe you need to release the fact that your part in the relationship was not what you would want to be. Feel healing light flowing through you, releasing any heaviness that you have so that forgiveness of yourself is working. Breathe through it. Allow yourself to forgive yourself. And then look at that other person. What did they say? What did they do or didn't do? Realize that that person, there's a lesson behind what's happening there. Surround them with forgiveness if you can, but allow that lesson to pop in front of you, between you and them. What were you supposed to learn? Have it clearly come out, whether skywriting, writing in fire words, or whatever it is. Maybe it's just an inner knowingness that pops into your brain. Know what that lesson was. Did you deserve better? Was there something about them that meant you were supposed to learn to speak your truth, to know you deserve more, to know that you can say no, perhaps? Maybe that's your lesson. Whatever it is, breathe in that lesson and know that you can learn it now so you don't have to repeat it, that you can get stronger in this lesson. Feel the light coming through you and washing away any tension or resistance, any anger or bitterness that you're holding against this person. And actually thank them for helping you learn whatever the lesson is you're supposed to learn. And now I want you to see this door closing. Door number 1 is closing now, and it feels complete. And now I want you to think of another relationship that you'd like to release. And look around for door number 2. Which one lights up for you? Go back as well for this one. When the door opens, feel safe, but feel what it is that you need to forgive yourself for. If you do, look through this relationship. Do you need to forgive yourself for staying too long, for saying something or doing something, or not speaking your truth, not stepping out and acting on it? Whatever you need to forgive yourself for in this second relationship, breathe. Feel again this healing light flowing through you so you can release this heaviness, this feeling that you were holding on to for so long. And then look at that other person and see what lesson you were supposed to learn from them. What was this relationship? What was it telling you? Be clear. Be allowing yourself to know that this is what you want. See it for what it is. Know that this lesson is something that you will know, if it's just subconsciously, that you can take it into the future and you don't have to repeat the lesson. Feel the lesson now from both relationships, moving into your cells, learning from them, helping you lift up higher, helping it reshape who you are now as door number 2 starts to close, knowing that the cells of your body are releasing the fear, releasing the anger and resistance, any tension or bitterness, anything that holds you on to either of those relationships. And now see yourself as someone who's lovable. Have a new light coming through, a nice purple light, shifting through you, clearing away anything that's holding you back, feeling lovable and capable and ready for love, knowing that you deserve love, that you are lovable, knowing that you can bring this back into now, into your reality. You can shift your subconscious and you can help your conscious mind feel good about yourself and about loving yourself and allowing other people to love you. So now we're going to come back at 5, breathing and allowing this lessons to work through your cells. 4, having your body feel lighter and brighter and your mind shifting into this more peaceful, loving place. 3, feeling yourself more open, more ready to move forward. 2, feeling every part of your body brighter when you think of those relationships, knowing what those lessons are. And if you don't know them consciously right now, knowing that they will come to you, that you're healing anyway. And 1, ready to open your eyes, be aware, alert, feeling brighter and lighter, and ready to open yourself up to love. Releasing past relationships, which really is one of the most important things you can do. Release them and learn from the lesson that you needed to learn, and focus on the present and the future. So what are you looking for right this minute in love? Do you want a commitment? Do you want marriage? Maybe you want an open relationship so it's not exclusive. Now there's something they call polyamorous, which I'm sure was there before, but which I've only heard of in the last couple of years. So everybody has multiple partners, and you know whether it's just two people or you're open, whether you want a live-in relationship but no marriage, or just someone in separate household that you get together to do things with or travel with, but you don't actually live together. Be truthful with yourself. You know what you want. You know what you're ready for. But, well, let's just say, bulletin here, all of that may fall by the wayside if you meet the right person. So be ready to shift ground, I guess I'd say, if you indeed find somebody that you go, oh my God, okay, maybe I do want marriage. Or maybe I do want to be one person specific because, wow, this was not expecting this. Just be aware. The next thing I want to talk about is, what are you specifically looking for? Knowing what you want is really important. And I do recommend making a list and be as specific as possible about everything you want. Look at it a couple times and then put it away and don't look at it again. Because otherwise you're going to obsess over the list when you look at the person. So be aware, be specific. Every couple of years you can look at it again to make sure you didn't change your mind, but put it away. You put it out in the universe, you've activated what you want, and that's all you need. And then pick out no more than maybe 5 things that you have as a must-have that is what you go by when you look for somebody. But choose really carefully, because one word can cover like 5 areas. I use the word integrity to cover honesty, faithfulness, loyalty. I'd like 4 or 5 different things. You can choose your word carefully. A great communicator can be that they communicate on all levels. If you want to talk about money or different decision-making together, all those different things you want to talk about, a great communicator may be the way you want to describe it. Maybe you want somebody who wants a family. Maybe you don't want somebody who has a family because you don't want any young children anymore because you're at the age you're going, no, I don't want to deal with that. Maybe you want someone drug-free, and that's one of the 5 things. A non-smoker versus a smoker. Maybe you want somebody who does specific things that you do, the same hobbies. Maybe you want someone who likes to travel. Or maybe you want a homebody. And honestly, maybe your sex drive is 0 and you don't want somebody who wants it all the time. So you have to pay attention to that. Maybe you want it a lot in a certain way that some people might consider kinky. Well, then you want to look for that. But make sure that these 5 things you look at really matter to you, that they are make or break. Don't make them, well, if there's certain things you go, yeah, no, those are my other 5 things, but they're not as important. Maybe money is important. Maybe all you care is that they're out of debt, or maybe you want them to be smart and know how to deal with money so they pay their bills on time. They do all those things that you want, or maybe you want somebody with lots. Just be aware of what are the 5 make or break things. Some people just want somebody with a job, unless, of course, somebody's retired. Maybe they want somebody that has a career they love. Just know what you want. If you find someone and they don't check all 5 of those boxes, be flexible if the things can be overlooked, but set some boundaries for yourself. Make those qualities non-negotiable. The ones like drug use, dishonesty, whatever it is that you have, those 5, if they're super important to you, those should be non-negotiable. They're make or break. Kick the person to the curb if they don't come to it. If you find out they're a drug user and you're going, no, that's one of my 5, I can't deal with that. Some people nowadays, pot doesn't matter. If you smoke marijuana, it doesn't bother people. Some people. Other people, it's huge. For me, I get nauseous when people smoke pot around me. So it's kind of a big thing. I don't want somebody who smokes in the house. I don't want to kiss somebody who smokes pot. So for me, it's kind of important. It's not so much a psychological thing as in I don't believe in it. It's more like physical. So I include that as part of my drug-free. I don't care if they do it once in a blue moon, but not a regular user. Whatever it is, be honest with yourself. You want to know. So where do you go from here? Well, smile more. When you meet people, be more engaging. You don't have to be a jokey person if you're not a joker. Just be approachable. It's really important because who wants to be around somebody who's scowling or rushing around all the time? Make sure if you have a profile picture online, you at least have one with a big natural smile. Because I have to tell you, so many people either have the same picture over and over and over again with the same expression on their face, or they just have a very scary expression on their face. And you look at them and you go, why would you put this picture online? The look is like, I'm going to get you, or it's like, and you're going, are you angry when you took this picture? Why is this online? Is this who you are? I don't want to be around you. So just be aware and have some fun with taking pictures. Watch your body language. Don't fold your arms or turn away. If you have any interest at all, stay engaged with the person. Look into their eyes. Give them your attention. Let them feel your energy. If you start to focus on anything else, I used to say when I was kissing when I was like really young, oh, if I'm thinking about my grocery list, I'm really not into this relationship. Well, duh, yeah. Make sure when you look in the mirror before you go out, you feel confident. Brush your hair, whatever you need to do. Just feel confident for yourself. Be yourself, though, because you are enough. Don't pretend to be someone you aren't. Don't pretend you like something for somebody else if you don't. Don't pretend, because you can't keep it up. If you say, I love sports, and they're a sports crazy person because you think they're attractive, it's hard to keep that up. After a while, you're going to either get into the sports or you're going to go, I hate it. Do it on your own. And they're going to wonder where you went to. Free relationship advice. I'm going to say that before I get out of here. YouTube has some great videos. For men, you might want to try The Art of Manliness, which is hysterical. I mean, they do a great job, and it's really interesting. Or The Charisma on Command. And for women, the two Matts, Matt Boggs and Matthew Hussey, are amazing. I really enjoy both of them. Because once you have the courage and are willing to risk opening your heart to new possibilities, the sky's the limit. So stay positive. And remember, you only really need one person. You don't need to have a million of them want you. Just the one. So it's not as difficult as you think.
Thank you for listening to Connect to Joy. If you love the show, make sure you rate, review, and share this podcast. And subscribe so you never miss an episode. Contact the host, Carol DeChaine, with questions and comments, ideas for future episodes, or if you would like to become a guest. And remember, transformation is a journey and not an end destination. So be kind to yourself, because you are already enough to have the joyful, limitless life that you desire.